I'm Alex Mozed, and welcome to Winner Take All, where we talk about the constant battle to fight back and win against big tech. And boy, do we have a couple great examples of that agenda being advanced very successfully these past couple days. So, recap of topics. We're going to start off with a little WeWork. Yes, that's right. WeWork is now public. We covered this when they originally tried to go public. I'm going to show you that clip. We called it within 24 hours of them filing their S1 that their original IPO target was complete bogus. That was a Goldman Sachs special, if you remember. Second topic is DWAC to the moon. What is DWAC? I'm about to tell you, but that puppy is surging. Full disclosure, yes, I bought it yesterday morning, and I'm sitting pretty right now. Berkshire eSupply is launching a digital offering. This is a B2B distribution special. This is, yes, related to, this is a Berkshire Hathaway portfolio in the B2B distribution space. They've just made a big announcement of their suite of digital tools as a master distributor, so we're going to dig into that. Closing out with the future of gyms. MindBody and ClassPass have merged. MindBody raised $500 million. It's a Vista-owned, one of the top kind of tech-forward private equity firms in the world, really. Sucked them in, is now doing a bunch of things, and what is the future of gyms now in a seemingly never-ending COVID world? So let's jump on in, shall we? So WeWork, good little overview. I did not buy this one, just FYI. Good little overview on this from PitchBook. This is WeWork's private valuation. You can see back in 2012, this thing was not even worth $100 million. Fast forward to 2015, $10 billion valuation. Okay, keep that number in mind. 2015, $10 billion. Then keeps going up and up and up. 2017, $21 billion. Oh, pretty nice. Kind of like growing like a tech company, wouldn't you think? 2019 private valuation, $47 billion. This is when they tried to go public originally. And let's go all the way back. Yeah, I think this was it. Title of the video was WeWork thinks they're a tech company? What did we have to say on this one? Well, just listen to the intro, opening summary. $1.7 billion in revenue, and they're spending like $1.6 billion just on the leases. Anytime you hear anything kooky that is skewing EBITDA, run for the hills, baby. This company, bad news bears. Oh man, it just keeps getting better this morning. WeWork. Run for the hills, baby. That was the tagline. August of 2019. So we're now more than 2 years later. The company has gone through a bunch of changes. The founder and CEO, Adam Neumann, I think is his name. He's out. But he's flying around on PJs. He's got he's got luxury yachts. That guy is not hurting one iota. He had a very nice exit package from WeWork. One of the things in the S1, which I called out, this was within 24 hours. We cut this video real quick. And at that time, right, Goldman Sachs was backing the IPO. It was not a thing to beat up on WeWork. That wasn't widely acceptable at the time. But yes, we beat up on WeWork heavy. You can go watch that video if you want. And Adam Neumann was like, he owned properties that WeWork was then leasing from him. And there was, they had this whole new term called community adjusted EBITDA. all this just madness. Goldman was backing this. I was just talking about Goldman on the last episode, how they outed Aussie Media. So that one they did well. This WeWork thing is a blemish and certainly a tarnish of their reputation, which I'm sure they would love to forget and get past. But I have fun bringing it up from time to time, clearly. So anyway, WeWork is now somewhat back to earth. And going back to this chart, remember that $10 billion valuation number in 2015? Well, they are now, at the time of the SPAC IPO, they had a $9 billion valuation. So 6 years go by, and they're actually still below what they were back in 2015. Ultimately, this came down to WeWork trying to sell itself, and successfully with SoftBank support, to sell themselves as a tech company, which they clearly are not. They can be a tech-enabled real estate management company, right? I mean, that's a fair description, but they were not a tech company. They used platform in their S1. We called that out straight away, and were ultimately proven correct. What is the stock at now? Why can't I even pull this up? I think the ticker is throwing me off. Yeah, this is it. This was the, it's a shell company, these SPACs, that's how it works. So DWAC Acquisition Corp was the shell. Now valuing WeWork, no, that can't be right. I don't know. I think Google's off on this. It doesn't have an $830 million valuation. Yeah. Yeah, the company was valued at about $9 billion. It's just not, I don't know, for some reason coming up properly on my screen, but it's about a $9 billion valuation. That's more in line. I think, some analysts would say it's still a premium compared to closer comps, right? Which is just, it's just desk sharing, right? You rent a big space, you divvy it up, kind of actually like the distribution business, right? You buy a bunch of stuff in bulk, you divvy it up into smaller quantities, you make a little bit of margin, and that's your business. They're just doing it with real estate. I actually will, as a positive, to close this out, we actually use WeWork Anywhere for Applico, and it's actually super convenient, actually pretty good offering, very well priced, and now, kind of in the new normal that is COVID, our employees don't want to have to go into the office every day, which we're fine with. And they're very responsible individuals, and we want to support them and, make their life better and their working situation optimal, right? So we work anywhere. We also do a lot of travel for clients. So we work anywhere. They can go and work in a different office, like in New York, right? They can go to different WeWorks around New York City. Or if they're traveling to a client site and they want a place to work from for the day, they can book a WeWork in that town. WeWork, right, has a pretty strong national network of locations. So it's pretty convenient. And I think our team has really enjoyed the program and had good reviews. And we're spending way less money than we were on an actual company office and lease, and we don't have to deal with all the upkeep and the management and insurance and taxes, and you got to get the trash taken out, and let's manage snacks, right? Like just all those little things, someone's got to do it, and it all just adds up. WeWork handles it. I'm actually very positive on that program. The valuation of the company, I think, is still a premium. but much better priced than where it was a couple of years ago. So we'll see where it goes. Now, next topic is DWAC. Now, what is that, would you ask? That is the Digital World Acquisition Corp. So that is the shell, which, let's see, what's it called? The Trump Media and Technology Group, TMTG. It's kind of like, kind of reminds me of Floyd Mayweather, right? TMT, the money team. This is TMTG, though, is now merging into the Digital World Acquisition Corp. You can go buy the stock. Full disclosure, I did yesterday morning at less than $20 a share. What is it up to now? Great question. It's over $120 a share. They have not announced, and that actually gives it a $5 billion market cap, which is, it actually had, it was sub $1 billion when it opened. It was like $875 million. Now it's $5 billion. And the reason why this is happening is, and this is a theme we've talked about on the show for a long time. I had Jeremy Kauffman, the CEO, co-founder of Library, and they have a YouTube competitor called Odyssey, which we are on, and it's phenomenal. The tech is great, and they're I think they're a top 5,000 website in the country, maybe the world. Jeremy couldn't understand it, right? Why is YouTube, or for that matter more broadly, all these digital content platform monopolies, whether it's a social media platform, a content platform like a YouTube or a Twitch, why are they becoming so aggressive with the content censorship, right? Strategically, it just didn't make sense to him because whether it's Odyssey, whether it's Rumble, which just got a big check from Peter Thiel, whether it's Gab, which has now close to 30 million monthly active users and has like 7 employees and has raised a few $1 million, right? It's insane. There are a litany of these now alternative social media and content platform startups, which have tens of millions of users and have phenomenal engagement, and the engagement is growing very, very well. Much faster than the large tech monopolies. But it's confusing to them, right? Because they say, well, strategically, Facebook, Google, YouTube, Twitch, they are sending me their users and their producers, right? Because they're literally banning and kicking off producers like it's their job. And they've actually given jobs to people to do that for a living, yeah. And they're silent, and they are not listening to consumers, and consumers want this information. And these large tech monopolies in the content spectrum have continued to overplay their hand and be way too aggressive with content censorship. Twitter, another great example. And what that's doing is it's driving users, it's driving a massive exodus away to other alternatives. And the beauty of this is that Trump was easily the most popular social media figure on Twitter. Not necessarily by, I think total count of followers, he was maybe top 5. But when you compare his engagement, right, so aggregate level of engagement, he was easily the number 1. So when you look at number of followers plus engagement, he was easily number 1. And Twitter kicked him off, right? And Facebook kicked him off. And he literally has sued these companies to try to get back on them, and they still don't let him back on, right? And that's created a vacuum, which is a strategic blind spot for these large content platform monopolies. And so I'm very bullish on this as a business opportunity. Obviously, the risk in all of this, and they've got a little chart here on kind of, the strategic positioning, right? So it's going to be called, I guess, Truth or something. So Truth Social, I guess, is the social network, and you can see that lining up against Twitter and Facebook. And then you've got TMTG Plus, Ring a bell? Disney Plus, Apple TV Plus, etc., lining up against your Netflix and Disney Plus. So that's, your kind of linear media content, right? Premium content. Then they've got TMTG News to line up against your CNN, iHeartMedia, but your news stations. And then this is the long-term opportunity TMTG tech stack. God, I love this. And that's what I love about Gab. So what Gab has done, and this is the risk. So clearly they understand the risk. But the risk is that what we saw with Parler, what we've seen with Gab many years ago, is that these big tech monopolies will actually, right, not just compete with you on the content spectrum, but they'll actually compete with you on the development platform spectrum. So in the development platform spectrum, it's Apple and iOS, the App Store, Google and the Google Play Store, and then Amazon with AWS. And so what you saw with Parler was wholesale banned from app stores and off the actual infrastructure, the cloud from AWS, which was completely ridiculous. An absolute just violation of what it means to be a development platform. And they threw up all these false flags around, January 6th and inciting violence and all this stuff, which was just mumbo jumbo to silence competition. When it was actually proven that there's way more activity as it relates to January 6th on, guess what? Yeah, Facebook and Twitter and other large social media platforms, as one would expect. But no, they decided to kick off small Parler because they were the biggest and clearly, causing the most harm to the public. It's just a bunch of fake news. So anyway, they understand the threat. That's the real threat with the distribution channel, and that's what Gab has so impressively built, is they've vertically integrated the stack. They've built their own servers. They're completely off the grid, so to speak, right? They don't rely on AWS or Microsoft Azure for cloud. They can't have an app because their stuff had been banned years ago. But they've still managed, despite all of that, they've built their own stack. They still have 20 plus million, approaching 30 million monthly active users. I mean, it's insane. Even with such a less optimal user experience, right? Obviously, apps are the optimal way to interact and consume content. I mean, that's very clear. But no, despite all that, in a web experience, which is not going to be optimal, they still have phenomenal numbers, right? And I think that shows you the power of the movement of the Great Awakening, of the American people and others around the world recognizing the transgressions by big tech monopolies, and not wanting to be a part of it, right? And wanting to be able to have free speech and wanting to be able to speak your mind, and going elsewhere, even if you have a suboptimal experience, even if you have to go on a browser and log in every time and all these kinds of things, right? It's truly impressive. And that's the opportunity here. So eventually it's inevitable, I think, that these tech monopoly, thought police, they pull out their 1982 book and start banning these different true social apps. But hopefully TMTG will be prepared for that. They certainly, are accounting for that in their long-term strategic plan. And I'll just read the paragraph here and close this out. I created True Social and TMTG to stand up to the tyranny of big tech. We live in a world where the Taliban has a huge presence on Twitter, yet your favorite American president has been silenced. This is unacceptable. It's ridiculous. I'm excited to send out my first truth on True Social very soon. TMTG was founded with a mission to give a voice to all. I'm excited to soon begin sharing my thoughts on True Social and to fight back against big tech. Everyone asks me, why doesn't someone stand up to big tech? Well, we will be soon. It's great. It's needed. It's a strategic misstep by the big tech monopolies. And again, the audience that a personality like Trump brings, and then all of his kind of producers, right? Content creators that are going to follow him to this platform. You cannot understate the influence that that has. We spoke on the last episode about Microsoft's Mixer taking Ninja to go to the platform and paying Ninja millions, if not probably tens of millions of dollars to go. Ninja, Dr. Lupo, and others, right? That's that. It's not just a single marquee strategy. So what's the difference between single marquee and double marquee strategy? Single marquee strategy is saying, hey, I get Ninja. Ninja's going to bring me demand and audience. Double marquee strategy is what's happening with the Trump effect. Is you're not only going to get audience and demand and consumers, you're going to get producers, right? So by him joining and bringing his content exclusively to his social network, you're going to get double marquee. You're going to get consumers and producers. It is worth a hell of a lot of money, just the power and the value of that network effect. Is it worth $1 billion? Yeah, I actually think it is. Absolutely it is. When you look at how these, what's junky Twitter valued at? Junky Twitter is a $50 billion company. This company is a joke. $50 billion market cap. They do, on a good day, 4, maybe 5 billion in revenue a year. They make nothing. They made $65 million on $1 billion in revenue. It's a joke. A joke. 50 billion market cap. So yeah, is it worth $1 billion? Is it worth $5 billion? Hell, it could be. The question is going to be the execution and the tech and the product. But hopefully, there's some smart people that have that figured out. All righty. Love it. Great strides in the fight against big tech. Next topic is this Berkshire eSupply. So, Berkshire Hathaway owns a bunch of different companies. Berkshire eSupply is what you would call a two-step distributor. They're in the industrial distribution space. So if we go to their site, what are industrial supplies? So they sell... Where'd their site go? So you can see it's somewhat mundane categories, right? Health and safety, janitorial and sanitation supplies. Then there's other things which, you wouldn't find on a normal B2C website, right? So these are like parts for material handling, weldering and parts, if you are a manufacturer. So what are the tools that you need if you are a manufacturing customer, right? So the health and safety, the janitorial and sanitation stuff, you might find a lot of overlap with more kind of consumer-oriented marketplaces. But industrial supply distributors do definitely have a large segment of products which are more specific to that business customer, to those manufacturing business customers and the like. So Berkshire says that they have over 2 million SKUs across these different categories of products. And so their big news was that they have launched what they call the Berkshire eSupply Network. And Berkshire, as a two-step distributor, means that they sell to distributors that sell to the end business customer, right? So Berkshire isn't actually selling to, say, that manufacturing business. They're selling to a distributor that is then selling to the manufacturing business. That's what we mean by a two-step distributor. So there's an interview with the CEO, John, here. A couple interesting quotes that I wanted to highlight. So BESN, so Berkshire eSupply Network, that's the launch, the network part, is really the evolution of learning from millions of customer interactions with independent industrial distributors. Here's the money line. Customized integrated technology, e-commerce, inventory, and logistics have been a part of the Berkshire eSupply offering for years. When you have an increased number of network members, what you are really building is a powerful digitized network. Yes, now here we go. This is the real money line. If you can enable sales and not just enable procurement, right? So if you are selling to a distributor, he's saying you want to enable sales for the distributor, not just make it easy for the distributor to buy from you. So if you can enable sales and not just enable procurement and logistics, I think that is a game changer. It is a game changer. Behind all the power and procurement are our highly technical people who have years of industrial experience. The people still make the business, yada, yada, yada. So it kind of fades fast from you got to enable sales from your distributor customers to then talking about the people. A little bit odd sequencing of points there, but the strategy and the thesis is spot on. It draws a very similar comparison to what we did with Dot Foods, the largest food redistributor in the United States. And they bought a company called Shop Hero, which, as we run through this, does exactly this, right? Enabling sales. Now, in that instance, it's enabling sales for smaller to mid-size grocers. But it's the same idea. Dot is a two-step distributor wanting to enable its business customers, its distributor customers, or its retail kind of grocer customers to better sell to their customers, to the end customer, right? So the core of the network is built upon Berkshire eSupply's e-commerce tools, inventory, fulfillment, and technology solutions. Its key capabilities include expanded product offering, e-commerce, national account coverage, and reach, to name a few. So the article goes much deeper into these different areas. So it's good. So it seems like, there's a tool where you can now have like an e-commerce tool. If you are a small to mid-sized industrial distributor, you can now use Berkshire eSupply's e-commerce tools to set up an e-commerce site, kind of like a Shopify, very similar to what Shop Hero is doing. And now you can be selling stuff online. You can be leveraging the 2 million SKUs from Berkshire to then sell those through to your end customer as a distributor, right? So that's what he's saying when he's saying we're going to expand the product catalog. Now you can basically easily sell through Berkshire's catalog as if it was your own, but you don't necessarily need to take the 2 million SKUs on balance sheet, right? You don't need to stock hold the 2 million SKUs in your warehouse because you're a smaller distributor. You don't have the need or the space to stock hold 2 million. You can't stock hold 2 million SKUs. Berkshire eSupply can. They can help you sell it, and then they can help you either, they didn't spell this out, but either, bring it to the distributor customer, and then the distributor customer packages it, bundles it with the regular shipment, or possibly maybe they can ship it directly to the end customer. I don't know, but those would be the things that, I'm sure Berkshire is figuring out or has figured out already. So how good is it? That's the question, right? So let's look at the site, right? Let's look at it. Well, you go to their website and, it looks a little dated. Yeah, a little dated. So you can click into different categories. Private label website. So this was the e-commerce enablement. Here's private label e-commerce. Complete online catalog, real-time inventory and availability, shipment tracking software for your customers. That's nice. Advanced account controls, orders go directly to you, integrates directly into your ERP. Over 1.2 million SKUs, so I guess it's not the full 2 million SKU catalog yet. Fully customizable punch-out catalogs. It's got a mobile experience, it looks like. Content is king. Our platform boasts some of the best rich content and data. That looks more like media and like articles type of content. So saying all the right things. Do they have the goods? So let's just do a little spot check. Now, I completely randomly, all I did was just click into like janitorial supplies. I clicked on the first thing, which is brooms and brushes. Then I clicked on the first thing, which is brooms. And then I clicked on, I don't know, I just clicked on one of these brushes. 24-inch Vortex Pro Fine Sweep Brush. Right? How good is the data? Now, one of the things I keep on talking about for B2B distribution, any marketplace, any e-commerce experience, is you need really good product data, right? So you need the connectivity, which Berkshire says it has. You can easily connect into your ERP. It didn't list which ERPs you can easily connect into, but that's one example of good connectivity. You need to be able to easily have the e-commerce experience flow through to the existing kind of back end and ERP infrastructure that you have. The other bit is product data. So selling something online versus in a catalog or on the phone is a very different experience. It's a digital experience. So how good is the product data? Do you have what you would call merchandisable product data? So doing that at scale on over 1.2 million SKUs is no small feat. But just giving me a good e-commerce tool, which this seems sufficient. It doesn't like fill to my full screen, but anyway, whatever. So you need an e-commerce tool, but then what do you put in the tool? If you put bad data in the tool, it doesn't matter if the tool is the best thing. No one's going to buy the stuff if there isn't good product data. Call that merchandisable product data. So let's look at the product data for this broom brush. So they've got, some information here. I could zoom it in. It is a little small. Different product specifications. You click over here, product features. It says country of origin is LK. I don't really know what that is. Shipping information, it gives you the package weight. Ships in 1 to 2 days from vendor. And, here's some other spec number. Okay, so all I did was then take this, copy this, and punch it into Google and see who else has this similar brush. Zorro had the brush. Zorro is Grainger's kind of like marketplace thing, has over 6 million SKUs. We've covered it regularly on the show. Has a much fuller screen experience, right? It's filling out my whole screen. Image is much bigger. Only has one image, but has this, hover thing, which is nice. Orders in multiples of 12, right? So that's interesting. I don't know if that is what Berkshire was selling, which is one singular unit, or a package of 12. They're hiding some of this information from me, so it's not totally clear to me. These standard package says 12, so I guess, yes, this is a package of 12, but I'd kind of need to look down here to figure that out. Not totally clear. Whereas this, right, boom, front and center, orders in multiples of 12. Country of origin says United States. I think this is pretty much the same brush, so that's a little bizarre. Item ships in 2 business days. Free shipping, nice. You may also like product, right? Recommended similar products. On Amazon, similar products recommendations account for over 40% of the sales overall, right? So product recommendations is a big deal. I don't see any product recommendations on the Berkshire eSupply site. None. That's a big miss. Going back to Zorro, specs, description. So this is right in prose. More of what you would expect to see in a modern e-commerce, right? It's kind of like a sentence as opposed to all these boxes, which is very kind of industrial. They've got bullets here, which is fine. But you got to click around into it. Here I can click these boxes or I can just scroll, right? Really easy. more product recommendations, and have availability to do reviews, but there are no reviews on this. I'd actually say that Berkshire has more product specs, right? If you look at this, they've kind of broken this down more. They've put it into different, structured data formats, right? So that actually I think would be a plus for Berkshire. Kind of break that down for you, as opposed to, or maybe if I click this, see full product details. Yeah, that's kind of all I get, right? I don't get that level of detail. So that would be a miss for Zorro. I like that Zorro puts the price. It's 2021, gang. Give me the price. Now let's go to the devil that is called Amazon. What does Amazon have? Oh boy. So first thing I notice, 3 images. I got the top side down, and then I got the bottom side up. Oh damn, Amazon, you just went there. Oh, and then I've got some little thingy here about selecting the right brush. Helpful, right? Yeah, 3 images looks a hell of a lot better than 1, and they've got 2 product images. Yes, this may sound weird, 2 product images of a brush. I will bet you $1 million that simple little detail, A, is very hard to do at scale, and absolutely increases what? Conversion to buy, 1,000,000%. And then look at this. Now look, Amazon's bucketing this. They're saying, oh, well, this is the 18-inch. So there's an 18-inch and a 24-inch. And then I can click into the 24, because that was the actual, I was looking at the 24-inch on both Zorro and on Berkshire. And whoa, what is this? What am I noticing? 24-inch is $4, pack of 12. $4 an item. Where are you, Zorro? $12.78 for $153. This is the same thing, and it's $50 on Amazon. $153. So yeah, you get free shipping because it's over $75. I get free shipping on Amazon. Free delivery gives me the delivery date. This is through Prime. I'm getting this thing on Monday. Not where these are telling me it ships in 2 business days, so you don't know when you're going to get it. And then this thing says ships in 1 to 2 days. So, and it's full screen. Then I get bullets. Boom, right here. Bullets made in Sri Lanka. That seems more realistic than the US, and certainly more informative than LK from eSupply. Right? Breaks these things out. Boom, boom, boom. Nice bullets. And then gives me the structured data boxes. Gives me warranty information. Didn't see that anywhere else. Gives me some other options. Bundles this with the rod. Oh, did Amazon just do that? They gave me the rod to plug into the brush. Yes, I had my coffee this morning, if you're wondering. And then they give me the logo from the manufacturer. They tell me about the manufacturer. That's nice. They give me other brushes from the manufacturer to look at. Bunch of brushes. Look at this. All from the same manufacturer. Other kinds of brushes. And this thing has 2 ratings. No reviews, but 2 ratings. Gave it a 5. And you just scroll through, no clicking. I don't need to click on anything. And this, right, the 18 and the 24-inch, none of that's here. None of that's here. If I go back, Berkshire eSupply does have the 18-inch version, right? But they're not bundling it. They're not attaching. They're not associating those 2 things in their product data, kind of universal product catalog mapping, right? So who wins? How would I rank those 3 sites? Berkshire eSupply, Zorro, and Amazon. Come on, gang. It's simple. Amazon is clearly the number 1. It's not even close. Zorro, I'd say, is a strong 2. the very objective way as to why they are two versus Berkshire is, I mean, there are a few reasons. One, the thing is full screen on my computer as opposed to like half my screen. And the other one is product recommendations. I cannot overstate how important product recommendations are. Zorro is 2. And not to mention the price on Amazon blows away a Zorro. I don't even know the price on Berkshire. And Zorro, I mean, Berkshire is definitely in 3rd place and has some legitimate work to do. So strategically, Berkshire saying all the right things. CEO should have talked a lot more about product data. He's probably not talking about the product data because the product data is lacking. And that's a big issue. Don't just give me a shell of an e-commerce tool. Just the tool is not going to cut it for what I need to be competitive as a small to mid-sized distributor with the big boys. Right? Look at the Berkshire eSupply experience versus Zorro, because that's a direct comparison. Take Amazon out of the equation. If you're a small to mid-sized distributor and you're trying to compete against a Zorro and a Grainger, right? Because that's happening. That's what's happening. Zorro is pretty far out in front of what Berkshire eSupply is offering. How can Berkshire eSupply account for that? Well, you got Warren Buffett money, baby. So that means you better subsidize the price of this tool, right? Whatever it would cost to license this, SaaS fees, you better, if I'm Berkshire, knowing that I have a lot to overcome in these buckets that I'm laying out, the way you account for that is by significantly lowering the price. And that should get you more usage while you can then continue to invest in the quality of the actual product and the performance of the product. But if you don't do that, and you charge what should be market for something like this, that's actually not good value for your distributor customers. That's a review. Okay, last topic. We got one more. The future of gyms. Let me cruise through this and break it down real simple. MindBody provides a lot of like software, booking software, management software for gyms and group kind of workout businesses. They were acquired by Vista the past few years. Vista, one of the preeminent tech-forward, tech-friendly private equity firms. Robert Smith, co-founder. Guy's a mega billionaire, an absolute phenomenal guy, genius. MindBody, this thing had been rumored. It just came out, right? This is October. This thing was announced. This thing had been rumored for a long time. That going back to May, this is May of 2021, ClassPass and Vista-backed MindBody hold merger talks. So now this is being announced in October. The company in January 2020 said its valuation eclipsed $1 billion after raising $285 million from investors. That's ClassPass. And so now what MindBody is doing is MindBody is raising has raised $500 million kind of in parallel with closing this transaction with ClassPass. I'm skeptical of this, and here's why. There's no publication of the purchase price. So they raised in January 2020. Yes, that's before COVID. A monster round at $1 billion valuation. What happened to ClassPass when COVID hit? Well, this. ClassPass reduces staff by more than 50%. They laid off like 20-something percent of their employees and furloughed like another 30-something percent. So over half of their employees were no longer working. This was in, I think, summer, maybe July of 2020, so a few months after, right, COVID hitting in the United States. Meanwhile, important to note that another company called GymPass, yes, ClassPass, GymPass. Don't get them confused. I like GymPass. I really don't like ClassPass. And here's why. So GymPass just did a legitimate raise with legitimate numbers being published in the press, raising money post-COVID, or, I don't know, in COVID, whatever we call it, over the summer, this summer, 2021, raises $220 million at a $2.2 billion post-money valuation. You say to yourself, well, GymPass, like, I've heard about ClassPass all over the news, female-founded business, doing all these amazing things. GymPass kind of coming out of nowhere. What the hell? Here's the angle. ClassPass is B2C. GymPass is B2B. GymPass sells to businesses that want to provide wellness perks to their employees. Interesting. So when COVID hits, bam, the B2C angle falls off a cliff. A lot of this, a lot of the angling on the B2C side of this was more of like discount shopping, right? I'm the marketplace for gym classes. I'm going to aggregate a lot of extra latent inventory amongst group workout classes that have extra availability. I'm going to package up that supply and then now offer a subscription to consumers. There's kind of a discount, always been a discount angle in ClassPass's kind of consumer positioning. So when ClassPass would have hot brands on there, maybe like I don't know, like a Soul Cycle back in the early days, or like a Barry's Boot Camp, right? Those classes would get sold out right away. ClassPass would advertise, hey, we got Soul Cycle, hey, we got Barry's, but you'd join the subscription, you'd never be able to book a Soul Cycle or a Barry's because they had very limited inventory. Those were very in-demand classes, but they used those as marketing to get people into the subscription, but you could never really actually book them, right? Because of the rarity on the supply. But then you could get like a random Pilates class that has a bunch of availability. See what I'm getting at? GymPass, very different story. You don't have this dynamic of being crammed down with a kind of a discount offering because you're selling to businesses that are offering this as a perk. Completely changes the game. Now you can actually legitimately have a nice spectrum of kind of premium workout classes, as well as, more kind of economical workout classes, right? So what that means now, translate that into COVID, where now you've obviously got workout at home and all these kinds of things. GymPass has a much stickier customer base with the business that still wants to provide wellness benefits for employees that are stuck at home, but, versus trying to sell out of the disposable income of consumers that are already kind of coming to ClassPass for a discount angle. See what I'm getting at? Much more resilient GymPass customer base than the ClassPass customer base. That's why you don't see any fundraise information for a ClassPass. That's why you see news articles about ClassPass trying to merge with MindBody for like 5-6 months. All right. So if it leaks, it's already been going since early 2021, if it leaks in May. Point is, I actually don't think this was that successful of an acquisition for ClassPass. These investors who invested at $1 billion valuation, I don't think they're super happy. Some of them are quoted in these articles. That's just them being nice. Maybe they were able to be made kind of whole by this, but then that means the founders and the employees get screwed and they get crammed down on their equity. Something was in the rub here. This wasn't a happy-go-lucky deal. It's being made out to be. That's the truth. So there's a lot of spin on this. I love the GymPass angle. If I'm MindBody, I take ClassPass, which I think they got for a bargain sale, frankly. Laying off over, for furloughing and laying off over 50% of the employees, have a discounted kind of consumer audience. Recipe for I think this was a bargain merger for MindBody. They picked it up, give them assets that they need, but I think they got a very good deal out of this. And now if I'm MindBody, I'm going to be positioning this to go after the enterprise audience and position myself to directly go after what GymPass is doing, because I love what GymPass is doing. GymPass isn't getting rolled up by MindBody, right? Too expensive. Resilient business, raising $2 billion at a $2 billion plus valuation despite COVID. That's resiliency. That's a sticky customer base. I like that. ClassPass, I'm a skeptic. They got work to do, and I think this is where they go. They go after the business audience. That's it for us on Winner Take All. Thank you very much for joining us. I will talk to you soon. The fight lives on. Bye-bye.